That's a reflection. In fact, today on this podcast, very first episode, we are having Dr. Nitin Joshi. सर आपका स्वागत है
Thank you so much.
ब्रिम्स पॉडकास्ट प्रतिबिंब में। सर मैं जब मैं आपसे चर्चा कर रहा था और आपके बारे में कुछ जानने की कोशिश कर रहा था, आपके जो कॉर्पोरेट का एक्सपीरियंस एंड योर एक्सपीरियंस इनटू एन एजुकेशन लाइफ, तो जब भी हम चर्चा कर रहे थे उसमें कुछ 5 चीज़ें जो मुझे बहुत अच्छी लगी, while being in the corporate world for longer, education में आके how you have transformed this education, because for last more than a decade you have been there into the education and you have transformed the education of BRIMS. तो आपके जो 5 मंत्र आपने मुझे सुनाए थे, I think that brings a lot of an insights as to the leadership qualities which are concerned.
Okay.
So clarity before execution के बारे में आपका जो पहला मंत्र है उसके बारे में आप क्या कहना चाहोगे?
Yes, Dr. Chima, when we talk about clarity over execution or before execution, in the corporate world, this is very important that you should define the outcomes before you execute.
Okay.
So if you're not very clear about the expected outcomes, nobody invests into your thought processes.
Yeah.
So you should be very clear about what you are going to deliver as an outcome for the corporate.
Okay.
Similarly, when we talk about things in the academics, the design of the program is very important, because the only design of the program can help you derive the outcomes which are seen as learning outcomes or expected outcomes by the students.
Correct.
So these kind of thoughts, when you talk about clarity over execution, so these kind of insights from the corporates have helped me to implement things at BRIMS, and this is my first mantra, which I think I have shared with you earlier.
Okay.
And this is how it has helped me achieve what we have achieved till date.
So that's a base foundation of laying down and as well as excellence in education which are concerned. और दूसरा आपने कहा था process over personality, is process driven, can you share more insights on that?
So in the corporate again, I have learned that if you are inconsistent with your processes, your outcomes will be very, very varied. So there won't be any stability, there won't be any standardization. So you need to have some processes, you need to have some systems in place. So same thought process, I have implemented at BRIMS also.
Correct.
So we have created a lot of processes, a lot of systems now, so that things are pretty standardized. The outcomes are seen, can be visualized earlier before you execute. So it is now more of a process driven rather than people driven.
Correct.
Because the moment you bring in people, they will bring in their variation.
Correct.
And too much of variation disturbs your outcomes.
Correct.
So therefore, we have standardized on processes. We have very structured ISO 2015 now, and it helps us to achieve what we wish to achieve as a part of process management.
And what was the constraint like? Initially coming back from corporate to an academic, probably I think corporate world it's very fast. They want instant and immediate result. They're talking about terms of profitability. But education में shift होने के बाद में आपने क्या challenges face किए in terms of bringing in clarity and in terms of in process?
So there were many challenges. First of all, I was new to the system. They were also new to me. So when you are new, you don't trust each other.
Correct.
So trust is one parameter which I always believe that unless and until you build that trust as a leader,
Correct.
nobody follows you.
Correct.
So building trust was one of the biggest challenge, and it took some time because the system has been running earlier since 2005-06. So already 5-7 years, 10 years were already over. So there was a system, there were processes, but when you change the processes,
Correct.
you know what happens. There is a lot of resistance.
Resistance in change.
So whenever you bring in change, there is resistance. There is sometimes a reactance also.
Correct.
So I ensured that, and I learned all these things during my training programs. That how do you respond to the situation rather than reacting to situations.
Correct.
So I responded slowly, understood people, understood processes, understood the vision of the top management, aligned myself with the institution, with the vision of the institution, made some twist in the vision, which it can align with the students also, stakeholders, other stakeholders of the system, and then winning people.
Correct.
So now, if you really see, means the trend in the BRIMS. So once people join BRIMS, normally nobody wants to leave BRIMS.
Correct.
So these kind of thought process, the ownership, the challenge of achieving something, my personal vision of helping students. So it has been aligned with everybody now.
Correct.
So that has really helped us reach where we are today.
Sure, I'm sure like your corporate experience of bringing the clarity and the process over the personality has helped this institute to march towards an excellence in education. Now always in corporate also each and everything is measured you have to quantify to what you do तो आपका जो तीसरा मंत्र था measurement and feedback loop. No, I'm sure in case of an measurement and feedback also sometimes as a human being working within an organization, within an institute, वहाँ भी करना का थोड़ा reservation होता होगा. So how you face the challenge of overcoming with this feedback loop?
Sir, whenever we try to measure, because it is always said that if you want to improve, you should measure things.
Right.
If you are not measuring things, you are not focusing on improving your quality. It's already said an established fact. So whenever you start measuring something, there is going to be some resistance. Because people will start thinking that how I am going to react once the impact is measured. So if it is an innovation example, if it is innovation and if you say, what is the impact of innovation at BRIMS? So you have to have some measure. Probably it could be rubrics based impact. So whenever we try to implement such kind of measurement tools, it could be in research, number of research papers, it could be the placement, it could be any parameter. If you start measuring, even in terms of number of visitors coming to the campus, so if you start measuring things, you get trends. You understand the behavior of the system. So once you understand, then probably implementing your next step is much more easier. But whenever you start doing things, there is going to be resistance. And I think, as I have shared with you, once people start believing you that you are, whatever you are doing is for the betterment of the institution, and if the institute is growing, then all the stakeholders of the institute will grow. Be it employees also, faculty members also. So everybody will grow. So this concept has been understood well. They have seen how we have helped them during the COVID time also. So there's understanding, trust building. I think that is now established.
A lot of transparency, yes.
So it is there.
Now when we say in corporate world the customers is a king, आपका जो मंत्र चौथा मंत्र है, what was that mantra like?
Customer is the king, and in our academics, student is the center point or the focal point. So in the domain of customer centricity, the major point is understand the pain points of the customer. So understand the pains of the students. So a very simple thought process. Suppose you are teaching mathematics, probably say linear programming, and student is not engaged. Probably he finds it difficult. Now, instead of blaming the student, if you understand his pain points, probably you will be in a position to help him how to understand linear programming as well. So, can we teach his way rather than my way? Earlier, the thought process in the academics was my way or highway. You understand or you forget. But I am saying, can we change? Can I help? Can I design my teaching based on your style of learning? And if that design is such which will enable the student to learn better, I think this is a win-win situation.
So you have to go to their level to understand what they are looking out for, right?
Yeah, because in many interviews I have checked with the teachers that, have you ever read something called learning styles of the students? What are the different learning styles of the students? So many of the teachers say they don't know because they have never read all about it. And adults have a different learning pattern, especially in the management institution. When students come here, I think they are already grown up. They have developed a learning pattern. Now they will only learn the way they learn. So they won't learn your way. So start implementing their way. Understand them. As we have also in the corporate, we say no, telling is not selling. Understanding the customer is more important.
You need to understand
the pain point of the customer. Understand the requirements of the customer. Similarly, these are his requirements in the academics. Students' requirement is, I learn this way. Can you help me learn? Don't teach me your way.
सर डॉक्टर नितिन जोशी, नो डाउट लाइक आपके जो 4 पिलर्स आपने इतने स्ट्रॉन्ग कर दिए, इट्स ऑल बिकॉज ऑफ योर corporate experience and the exposure, like clarity before execution was your first mantra, and then process over personality was the second mantra, and measurement and the feedback loop, which you have ensured like there's a holistic approach of an appraisal, and also keeping the customers at the centering point. No doubt we could see BRIMS, Dr. B.N. Institute of Management Studies and Research, right from NAC to NBA to autonomy, and they've gone to the next level of an case study and the innovation. Sir, now the आपका जो first mantra है उसमें challenge भी है, scalability and sustainability. So can you throw some light on your 5th mantra of scalability and sustainability?
See, I think when I was in the corporate world and I was working in sales, so there was one concept, and the concept was only white tigers will survive in this institution. That was the concept.
Yeah.
So if you are a white tiger, then only you survive, otherwise you lose the job. That is the kind of organizations I have worked with.
Okay.
So it is performance based. And why this? Because only when the corporate is performing well, corporate grows, our salaries grow, our market share grows, the stakeholders are happy. So this is how it works. So institute cannot say that we will not grow. Institutes have to grow. Now we have to bring processes. We have to bring in technology. We have to bring in thought processes. We have to involve others. We have to ensure that the institutes also grow. And therefore this scalability and sustainability as one of my last mantra which I shared with you, it has worked. So when I had joined this institution, I think the number was 120 students as intake. Today we have 180 as an intake for MMS program. Similarly, when we talk about our research, so we didn't have a PhD center, but now we have a PhD center. We didn't have an FPM program, fellowship program. Now we have a fellowship program. So there are many things which we have brought in, and thanks to my team, we never had earlier worked upon the management development programs, consulting. Now all these areas we have explored, and we see that we have worked in, though maybe in small pockets, but we have started working in all those areas. So we get consulting now, we get management development programs, we get PhD students, so everything. So all around development in terms of research, innovation, creativity, critical thinking, problem solving, and of course the placement, because that is another important parameter. And we have seen growth in the placement as well.
And normally ऐसे कहते हैं like normally we are not here for a degree, like we are here to build up a character as far as students which are concerned. I'm sure it's an interesting insights what we are getting from Dr. Nitin Joshi on BRIMS first podcast. I'm sure these 5 mantras which are there, it's all the kind of work what he had put in the corporate level, he had applied into an education institute, and the base of an education institute are the faculty members and the students. And if you come to BRIMS, the Dr. B.N. Institute of Management Studies in Thane, I'm sure like it's an experiential learning. There's a lot of innovation which is done. We will catch up with Dr. Nitin Joshi in our next episode to catch up with more in terms of how the process of NAC was laid down, how the process of NBA was laid down, how the autonomy was brought in, and like normally as far as the innovation aspects which are concerned. Sir, it was a great insights to what you have given for target audience, and wish you all the best for the first episode. It was more insightful, the mantras what you have shared, and wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.